Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatrubhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So welcome to our continued reading of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, otherwise known colloquially as the Krishna book. And so here we are on chapter 6 called Putana Killed. If we have more time, we can go on to the next chapter also. We'll see. So first we're going to sing a little bit, which Prabhupada puts into the introduction this mantra that Lord Chaitanya chanted when he was leaving to go to take sannyas. Okay. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam. Chapter 6, Putana Killed. While Nanda Maharaj was returning home, he considered Vasudev's warning that there might be some disturbance in Gokula. Certainly, the advice was friendly, not false. So Nanda thought, there is some truth in it. Therefore, out of fear, he began to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is quite natural for a devotee in danger to think of Krishna because he has no other shelter. When a child is in danger, he takes shelter of his mother or father. Similarly, a devotee is always under the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when he specifically sees some danger, he remembers the Lord very rapidly. Prabhupada once said that chanting should be like a child crying after its mother. And if you think, well, only if there's some danger, there's always danger. Who can say that they won't die in the next 5 seconds? So you should always consider yourself on the brink of death. Those are instructions from Prabhupada. We continue. After consulting with his demoniac ministers, Kamsa instructed a witch named Putana, who knew the black art of killing small children by ghastly, sinful methods, to kill all kinds of children in the cities, villages, and pasturing grounds. That he's instructing her to kill children everywhere. Such witches can play their black art only when there is no chanting or hearing of the holy name of Krishna. It is said that whenever the chanting of the holy name of Krishna is done, even negligently, all bad elements witches, ghosts, and dangerous calamities immediately disappeared. And this is certainly true of a place where the chanting of the holy name of Krishna is done seriously, especially in Vrindavan, when the Supreme Lord was personally present. Therefore, the doubts of Nanda Maharaj were certainly based on affection for Krishna. Actually, there is no danger from the activities of Putana, despite her powers. Such witches are called Kechari, which means they can fly in the sky. Yeah, K is the sky, and Chari, you go in the sky. They don't need brooms, really. That's just a modern addition. So Kechari, which means they can fly in the sky. This black art of witchcraft is still practiced by some women in the remote northwestern side of India. They can transfer themselves from one place to another on the branch of an uprooted tree. So that's the authentic, what they ride is not a broomstick, but the branch of an uprooted tree. Putana knew this witchcraft, and therefore she is described in the Bhagavatam as Kechari. Putana entered the country of Gokula, the residential quarter of Nanda Maharaj, without permission. Dressing herself just like a beautiful woman, she entered the house of Mother Yashoda. So they have also the ability to shift their shapes in different ways. She appeared very beautiful, with raised hips, nicely swollen breasts, earrings, and flowers in her hair. She looked especially beautiful on account of her thin waist. She was glancing at everyone with very attractive looks and smiling face, and the residents of Vrindavan were captivated. The innocent cowherd women thought she was the goddess of fortune, appearing in Vrindavan with a lotus flower in her hand. It seemed that to them that she had personally come to see Krishna, who is her husband. Because of her exquisite beauty, no one checked her movement, and therefore she freely entered the house of Nanda Maharaj. Putana, the killer of many, many children. Apparently that was her sport or something. Putana, the killer of many, many children, found baby Krishna lying on a small bed, and she could at once perceive that the baby was hiding his unparalleled potencies, which resembled fire covered by ashes. So notice her perception. Putana thought, this child is so powerful that he can destroy the whole universe immediately. Putana's understanding is very significant. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is situated in everyone's heart. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that he gives one necessary intelligence, and he also causes one to forget. Mata smritir jnanam apohanam ta. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Putana was immediately aware that the child whom she was observing in the house of Nanda Maharaj was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He was lying there as a small baby, but that does not mean he was less powerful. The materialistic theory that God worship is anthropomorphic is not correct. No living being can become God by undergoing meditation or austerities. Once people were preaching like that around our temple, that Krishna meditated, he became God. Jesus meditated, he became God. Buddha meditated, he became God. So now God wants you to meditate, ... That was their sign all over the place. So that's going on, that idea. No living being can become God by undergoing meditation or austerities. God is always God. Krishna as a baby is as complete as he is as a full-fledged youth. The Mayavada theory holds that the living entity was formerly God, but has now become overwhelmed by the influence of Maya. Therefore, the Mayavadis say that presently he is not God, but when the influence of Maya is taken away, he will again become God. That's the teaching. This theory cannot be applied to the minute living entities. The living entities are minute, parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are minute particles or sparks of the original fire. So these sparks can be covered by the influence of Maya, but the original fire, Krishna, cannot. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead even from the beginning of his appearance in the house of Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna showed the nature of a small baby and closed his eyes as if to avoid the face of Putana. This closing of the eyes is interpreted and studied in different ways by the devotees. Here Prabhupada is going through, some of the commentators have slightly different accounts of why did he close his eyes. Some say that Krishna closed his eyes because he did not like to see the face of Putana, who had killed so many children and who had now come to kill him. Others say that Putana hesitated to take the baby on her lap because something extraordinary was being dictated to her from within, and that in order to give her assurance, Krishna closed his eyes so that she would not be frightened. In other words, there's some premonition from within that you better be careful. And yet others interpret this in this way. Krishna appeared in order to kill the demons and give protection to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. The first demon to be killed was a woman. According to Vedic rules, the killing of a woman, a brahmana, cows, or a child is strictly forbidden. Krishna was obliged to kill the demon Putana, and because the killing of a woman is forbidden according to Vedic Shastras, he could not help but close his eyes. Another interpretation is that Krishna closed his eyes because he simply took Putana to be his nurse. Putana came to Krishna just to offer her breast for the Lord to suck. Krishna is so merciful that even though he knew Putana was there to kill him, he took her as his nurse or mother. There are 7 kinds of mothers, according to Vedic injunction. The real mother, meaning the birth mother. The real mother, the wife of a teacher or spiritual master. The wife of a king. The wife of a brahmana. The cow. The nurse. And Mother Earth. Because Putana came to take Krishna on her lap and offer her breast milk to be sucked by him, she was accepted by Krishna as one of his mothers. That is considered to be another reason he closed his eyes. He had to kill a nurse or mother. But his killing of his mother or nurse was no different from his love for his real mother or his foster mother, Yashoda. We further understand from Vedic information that Putana was also treated as a mother and given the same facility as Yashoda. As Yashoda was given liberation from the material world, Putana was given liberation. Because anyone killed by Krishna is liberated. Prabhupada said once, if you have to hate Krishna, then Krishna will come and kill you, and you'll be liberated. When baby Krishna closed his eyes, Putana took him on her lap. She did not know that she was holding death personified. If a person mistakes a snake for a rope, he dies. Similarly, Putana had killed so many babies before meeting Krishna. Oh, by the way, that's interesting that was her habit, was killing babies. It's just a thing that she did. Like buying lottery tickets or something, you know. Anyway, Putana had killed so many babies before meeting Krishna, and she mistook him to be like them. But now she was accepting the snake that would kill her immediately. When Putana was taking baby Krishna on her lap, both Yashoda and Rohini were present. So they weren't alone in the room. But because she was so beautifully dressed and showed motherly affection toward Krishna, they did not forbid her. They could not understand that she was a sword within the decorated case. Putana had smeared a very powerful poison on her breasts, and immediately after taking the baby on her lap, she pushed her breastly nipple within his mouth. She was hoping that as soon as he would suck her breast, he would die. But baby Krishna very quickly took the nipple. In anger, he sucked the milk poison along with the life air of the demon. In other words, Krishna simultaneously sucked the milk from her breast and killed her by sucking out her life. Krishna is so merciful that because the demon, Putana, came to offer her breast milk to him, he fulfilled her desire and accepted her activity as motherly. But to stop her from further nefarious activities, he immediately killed her. And because the demon was killed by Krishna, she got liberation. As Krishna pressed her breast extremely hard and sucked out her very breath, Putana fell down on the ground, spread her arms and legs, and began to cry, "Oh, child, leave me, leave me." She was crying loudly and perspiring, and her whole body became wet. As she died screaming, there was a tremendous vibration on the earth and in the sky, on the upper and lower planets, and in all directions, and people thought thunderbolts were falling. Thus the nightmare of the Putana witch was over, and she assumed her real feature as a great demon. She opened her fierce mouth and spread her arms and legs all over. She fell exactly as Vritrasura did when struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. The long hair on her head was scattered all over her body. Her fallen body extended up to 12 miles and smashed all trees to pieces, and everyone was struck with wonder upon seeing this gigantic body. Her nostrils appeared just like mountain caves. Her breasts appeared like small hills. Her hair was a vast reddish bush. Her eye sockets appeared like blind wells, and her 2 thighs appeared like 2 banks of a river. Her 2 hands appeared like 2 strongly constructed bridges, and her abdomen seemed like a dried-up lake. All the cowherd men and women became struck with awe and wonder upon seeing this, and the tumultuous sound of her falling shocked their brains and ears and made their hearts beat strongly. When the gopis saw little Krishna fearlessly playing on Putana's lap, they very quickly came and picked him up. Mother Yashoda, Rohini, and other elder gopis immediately performed the auspicious rituals by taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. I assume that means with the cow holding the tail. The child was completely washed with the urine of a cow, and the dust created by the hoofs of the cow were thrown all over his body. Cow urine, when the cows are fed the right way, is actually quite medicinal, by the way. All the products of a cow are pure if they're treated properly. This was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. This incident gives us a clear indication of how important the cow is to the family, society, and to living beings in general. The transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection, but to instruct us on the importance of the cow, the Lord was smeared over with cow dung, washed in the urine of a cow, and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of the cows. After this purificatory process, the gopis, headed by Mother Yashoda and Rohini, chanted the names of Vishnu to give Krishna's body full protection from all evil influences. They washed their hands and feet and sipped water 3 times, as is the custom before chanting mantra. They chanted as follows: My dear Krishna, may the Lord who is known as Aja protect your legs. May Lord Maniman protect your knees. May Lord Yajna protect your thighs. May Lord Achyuta protect your upper waist. May Lord Hayagriva protect your abdomen. May Keshava protect your heart. May Lord Isha protect your chest. May Lord Surya protect your neck. May Lord Vishnu protect your arms. May Lord Urukrama protect your face. May Lord Ishvara protect your head. May Lord Chakradhara protect your front. May Lord Gadadhara protect your back. May Lord Madhusudana, who carries a bow in his hand, protect your right side. May Lord Ajana protect your left side. May Lord Urugaya, with his conch shell, protect you on all sides. May the personality of Godhead Upindra protect you from above. May Lord Tarksha protect you on the ground. May Lord Haladhara protect you from all sides. May the personality of Godhead known as Srishikesh protect all your senses. May Lord Narayana protect your life heirs. May the Lord of Svetadweep, Narayana, protect the core of your heart. May Lord Yogeshwara protect your mind. May Lord Prishnigarbha protect your intelligence. And may the Supreme Personality of Godhead protect your soul. While you are playing, may Lord Govinda protect you from all sides. And when you are sleeping, may Lord Madhava protect you from all danger. When you are walking, may the Lord of Vaikuntha protect you from falling down. When you are sitting, may Lord Narayana give you all protection. And while you are eating, may the Lord of all sacrifices give you all protection. Thus Mother Yashoda chanted different names of Vishnu to protect child Krishna's different bodily parts. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced that she should protect her child from different kinds of evil spirits and ghosts, namely Dakshinis, Yatudanis, Kushumandas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Vinayakas, Kotaras, Revati, Jeshtas, Putanas, Matrikas, Unmadas, and similar other evil spirits who cause persons to forget their own existence and give trouble to the life air and the senses. Sometimes they appear in dreams and cause much perturbation. Sometimes they appear as old women and suck the blood of small children. But no such ghosts and evil spirits can remain where there is chanting of the holy name of God. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced of the Vedic injunctions about the importance of cows and the holy name of Vishnu. Therefore she took all shelter in the cows and the name of Vishnu just to protect her child Krishna. She recited all the holy names of Vishnu so that he might save the child. Vedic culture has taken advantage of keeping cows and chanting the holy name of Vishnu since the beginning of history. And persons who are still following the Vedic ways, especially the householders, keep at least 12 cows and to worship the deity of Lord Vishnu, who is installed in their house. Persons who are advancing in Krishna consciousness should take instruction from this pastime and also be very interested in cows and the holy name of Vishnu. The elder gopis of Vrindavan were so absorbed in affection for Krishna that they wanted to save him, although there was no need to, for he had already protected himself. They could not understand that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing as a child. After performing the formalities to protect the child, Mother Yashoda took Krishna and let him suck her breast. When the child was protected by Vishnu mantra, Mother Yashoda felt that he was safe. In the meantime, all the cowherd men had gone to Mathura to pay tax. All the cowherd men who had gone to Mathura to pay tax returned home and were struck with wonder at seeing the gigantic dead body of Putana. Isn't it interesting, going off to have paid the tax? Anyway, one reason that Krishna was seen to be vulnerable was all the men were gone. Just the women were there. So now the men come back, and now they see this huge, gigantic dead body of Putana. Nanda Maharaj recalled the prophecy of Vasudeva and considered him a great sage and mystic yogi. Otherwise, how could he have foretold an incident that happened during his absence from Vrindavan? You may recall he said, I think there's some trouble. He didn't say exactly what it was, but there's trouble in Vrindavan. After this, all the residents of Braj cut the gigantic body of Putana into pieces and piled it up with wood for burning. When all the limbs of Putana's body were burning, the smoke emanating from the fire created a good aroma of agaru. This aroma was due to her being killed by Krishna. This means that the demon Putana was washed of all her sinful activities and attained a celestial body. Here is an example of how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all good. Putana came to kill Krishna, but because he sucked her milk, she was immediately purified, and her dead body attained a transcendental quality. Her only business was to kill small children. She was only fond of blood. But in spite of being envious of Krishna, she attained salvation because she gave her milk to him to drink. So what can be said of those who are affectionate to Krishna in the relationship of mother, who with great love and affection always serve him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the super soul of every living entity? It is concluded, therefore, that even a little energy expended in the service of Krishna, in the service of the Lord, gives one immense transcendental profit. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is so sublime that even a little service rendered to Krishna, swalpa means very meager, sualpa, very, very tiny, that even a little service rendered to Krishna, knowingly or unknowingly, gives one the greatest transcendental benefit. The system of worshipping Krishna by offering flowers from a tree is also beneficial for the living entity who is confined to the bodily existence of that tree. When the flowers and fruits are offered to Krishna, the tree that bore them also receives much benefit indirectly. The archana process, or worshipping procedure, is therefore beneficial for everyone. Krishna is worshipable by great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and Putana was so fortunate that the same Krishna played in her lap as a little child. The lotus feet of Krishna, which are worshipped by great sages and devotees, were placed on the body of Putana. People worship Krishna and offer him food with great reverence and devotion, but automatically he suckled the milk from the body of Putana. That is, she didn't have to go through any rigmarole or anything, just did it. Devotees, therefore, pray that if simply by offering something as an enemy Putana got so much benefit, who who can measure the benefit of worshipping Krishna in love and affection? Therefore, only Krishna should be worshipped, for so much benefit awaits the worshipper. Although Putana was an evil spirit, she gained elevation, just like the mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is clear that the cows and the elder gopis who offered milk to Krishna were also elevated to that transcendental position. So the rasa of the cows, the Krishna, is that of parental, maternal. They're mothers also. They're not just the humans, but the cows had that feeling for Krishna. Krishna can offer anyone anything, from liberation to anything materially conceivable. Therefore, there cannot be any doubt about the salvation of Putana, whose bodily milk was sucked by Krishna for such a long time. And how can there be any doubt about the salvation of the gopis, who were so fond of Krishna? Undoubtedly, all the gopis, cowherd boys, cows, and everyone else who served Krishna in Vrindavan with love and affection were liberated from the miserable condition of material existence. When all the inhabitants of Vrindavan smelled the good aroma from the smoke of the burning Putana, they inquired from each other, "Where is this good fragrance coming from?" And while conversing, they came to understand that it was the fumes of the burning Putana. They were very fond of Krishna, and as soon as they heard that the demon Putana had been killed by Krishna, they offered blessings to the little child out of affection. After the burning of Putana, Nanda Maharaj came home and immediately took the child on his lap and began to smell his head. In this way, he was quite satisfied that his little child was saved from this great calamity. Srila Shukadev Goswami has given a blessing to all persons who hear the narration of the killing of Putana by Krishna. They will surely attain the favor of Govinda. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 6th chapter of Krishna, Putana killed.
Thank you very much. If anybody has any comments or questions, I know there's a few in the queue already, but please go ahead and type them into the comment section there underneath the video. I just want to say real quick before we dive into all the comments, I find it really, really interesting. Mother Yashoda praying to Govinda and Lord Madhava for Krishna's protection. That's really, really quite something. Let's see here. Gaura Shakti Prabhu. He says, it has always been so interesting to me that Putana knows that Krishna can destroy the entire universe, yet she still moves forward with her plans. Yeah. And Akendra Prabhu says, I couldn't calculate the man-hours and dry wood required to chop up and burn a 12-mile-long body. But I figure if a few Amish families can put up a barn in an afternoon, surely Krishna can arrange that there be sufficient expert Brajbasis to chop up a dead witch. And Charachandra responded, teamwork.
Let me respond to something to this one. This idea that the body is 12 miles long, the distance from Vrindavan to Mathura, going straight, is 5 miles. They're really very close, 7 miles if you actually take the Indian roads, but it's very close. What the text actually says, that this is 10, 16, 14, is that it doesn't say her body knocked the trees over. It just says they were smashed within a 12-mile limit. So it just says that the way Prabhupada translates this is like that. But this is what the Churnaya, it was the trees were smashed around 12 miles. So I assume that when she fell, the sound of her falling collapsed the trees, because I can't understand how it's just bigger than the anyway. Yeah, that's what it says. All kinds of trees were smashed for 12 miles. It just doesn't say, the text actually doesn't say her body smashed the trees itself, but when it fell to the ground, it just the sound of it and the shock of it made the trees all fall apart. I think the word here, I had looked it up. Let me look it up again in the dictionary. It's yeah, the word that's smashed here is is churna. You know what a churna is? A powder. Churna. It's the same word as churna. And so as a verb, it means reduced to powder or flour, pulverized, grounded. So just like, the body may not have come into contact with just the vibration of, anyway, that's the word that's used in any case here for 12 miles around. Because later on, the baby's playing on the body, I mean, like, even get on top of, anyway. Just something to think about.
Yes, on that topic, Kendra earlier on sent in some reflections on this topic, and you've kind of responded to some of it, but there's some additional items here. So I'll just go ahead and read this. He wrote, ever since I first read this pastime, I had wondered about the swath of destruction caused by Putana's body falling. It says that all the trees were crushed within a limit of 12 miles. If we take 12 miles as the length of Putana's body, that equals 63,360 feet. Proportionately, then, her fallen body would have been around 4 miles wide and 2 miles high, so it's no wonder the gopis were perturbed about Krishna being up so high playing on Putana's lap after the incident.
Yeah.
Right. I had also considered that such a wide swath of destruction would most certainly have taken out not only Nanda and Yashoda's house, but many other houses as well, and who knows how many humans, cows, and other living creatures. This morning I looked at Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Sarata Darshini, in which he says, quote, due to intense pain, Putana ran out of the house, fled the village, and fell down to the ground on the outskirts of Raj. The word api signifies that not only while living, but even while dying, Putana was killing other living entities. Really interesting. All the trees within an area of 6 kroshas, 12 miles, were crushed by the falling body of the gigantic witch. It was remarkable that only the trees were crushed and none of the village houses. According to Sri Jiva Goswami's Vaishnava Toshana Tika, these trees, which were laden with pleasurable fruits, were located in Kamsa's personal garden. That's the end of the quote. He says, in Tulsi Priya's words, Kamsa's chick had come home to roost.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, the actual meaning or the word of churnaya means pulverized, reduced to powder, was what happened somehow or other. Yeah.
Vijay Krishna Prabhu asks, he says, related to the gopis praying for all the gods to give protection to baby Krishna, my question is there any connection between these prayers and the prayers devotees use while applying tilak on the 12 parts of the body?
Yeah, you sanctify your body. When you put tilak on and say the name of Vishnu, you're also purifying your body and dedicating your body to the service of Krishna. And that's what it does. It helps make your body spiritual.
Madhavendra Puri Prabhu says, Srila Prabhupada talks about the power of chanting, repelling unsavory subtle beings. Examples of this have been shown in 2 incidents in Lilamrita. Once when Srila Prabhupada sent his disciples to do ghost busting on John Lennon's estate, using a chanting party and a conch. Another time where Srila Prabhupada used his own japa and a cane, also in England. Counter to this, many devotee centers are old and peculiar buildings that are experienced to be quite haunted, and devotees in the Holy Dham also experience certain incidents of subtle beings. I was wondering if there was more to this. If this is too much of a distraction from the sweet nature of Krishna's Leela, please feel free to ignore.
I don't know what more to this is. The fact is that Prabhupada did describe, also in Mayapur, they would go around in the evening with burning a mixture of camphor and what was that resin called? It was camphor and some other thing that you'd burn in
Frankincense or something?
frankincense or something like that. Yeah, frankincense. I think it was camphor and frankincense in a censer, because it was said that in there were powerful Brahmana ghosts. They were very powerful, and so they would take it through and go through chanting mantras and with this censer, putting out the smoke. I don't know much about ghosts myself, but I think that if you are a devotee, they won't be able to hurt you.
Vijay Krishna Prabhu asks, related to the blessing given by Srila Shukadev Goswami that says that if we hear this narration, I will surely attain the favor of Govinda. Quite often, at the end of Vedic narrations, blessings are given to the ones who hear or read them. My question is, are these blessings for good?
Why not? Depending on you, it may take a while for them to get into effect, but
And we have a really nice comment here from Aditya Varna. So nice to hear you're on here, Aditya Varna from Ireland.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've
Yeah,
seen you.
we've heard from her. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. She says, these Krishna book readings and your first canto classes are making this lockdown so many O's, so much easier. Thank you, Gurudev, for all the nectar.
Oh, you're welcome. It must be very hard for the Irish to stay locked down, much more than the rest of us.
And I believe that is it.
Okay, I think we'll stop then. Yeah. So stay tuned. The next chapter after Putana killed is the salvation of another demon, Trinavarta. Trinavarta means one who carries straw. Whirlwind.
Cool. And Gorashati Prabhu says, thank you so much, Gurudev. And I should also say, today is the 1-year anniversary of Gorashati Prabhu's initiation.
Oh,
so
very good.
Congratulations to your 1-year anniversary,
Yeah,
Gorashati Prabhu.
good you made it this far. Keep going.
Yeah, that was a really nice ceremony last year. Good memories.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna book ki jai.